Hello everybody, it is Nicole from Yukiwi, and today we are drawing the tricks from Winx Club. So let's not waste any time and hop right into the video. Last time you all voted for villains, and the tricks won by a whole bunch of votes. By now, I think you all know how voting goes. Be sure to vote for the next character you want to see in the comments by replying to my pinned comment or leaving your own. So for the sketch, when creating the pose, I wanted them to be full body, but I didn't want them to look too similar to the Lollyrock drawing that I did previously. I also just wanted to draw their shoes, and the previous Winx girls were also full body, so I just felt like keeping it full body would make it consistent. Someone suggested a while ago to include the glue mix on the tricks, which definitely helped me create their positions. I ended up putting Icy in the middle, with Darcy on the right and Stormy on the left so that their glue mix is fully visible. When it came to refining the sketch, I actually struggled quite a bit because after the sketch on camera, which you see now, I usually refine it off camera, and for this one I ended up refining it 3 different times. But whenever I tried to refine their faces, it just ended up looking really bad or something that I wasn't really happy with. Ultimately, I just ended up digitally refining it, which usually I don't do because I like to finish a sketch traditionally, but this time I just kept doing that and it didn't work, so I ended up just going digital because it saved me some time and I needed to get this video out. So for the coloring, I gathered colors from all marker sets, which will be listed and linked in the description as always, and then I separated the colors into each character, which I mentioned in a previous how to blend video, which I'll link down below as well. I started with Icy because she's in the middle, but also because she's my favorite out of the tricks. Let me know who your favorite is out of these 3. It was a little bit tricky because her colors are pretty similar, and in marker they seem even more similar. I started coloring the entire area in the highlight color, which is why when you see me coloring the base, it's actually lighter, and then I add the actual base color on top. I kind of messed up on the highlights and shadows a bit on Icy because I confused myself a little bit. Typically at this point I would add shadows, but I was actually adding the base colors to create the highlights, and I was going to add the shadows later, but as I mentioned, I confused myself and I created it all kind of weird and it didn't really look like highlights, but I couldn't really undo it because the highlight color was underneath and I already went over it in the base color. Next I colored Stormy, and I started with her hair. In the video it looks really patchy, and it is, but off camera I went over it again with the same marker to smooth it out, which is a tip that I mentioned in my how to color smoothly with alcohol marker video, which I'll be sure to link in the description and in the card. For her leggings, I used a color from the Ohuhu pastel marker set, which I will be reviewing soon because you guys all requested that I review that set and that brand. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell if you want to be notified of when that video comes out. The rest of Stormy was relatively easy because she didn't really have much other color than that maroon color on her dress and her boots. And last but not least was Darcy, and Darcy's hair color was a color that I never really used before, so it gave me a chance to use that marker color and let it shine, I guess. I think I typically go for the bright or pastel colors when it comes to coloring my pieces, which is why this kind of mossy green doesn't really get out much. As for our outfit, the purple was a little bit difficult because I had one color that worked, but I couldn't really find another purple that was darker to add shadows with, and if you see my other fan art videos, you'll know that purple seems to be my nemesis. So although all the colors in the tricks aren't exact matches, I think that overall they work well enough to make it look like the Trix and their characters. As for the line art, I decided to go for all black line art. On the other Winx, I did colored lines to create a soft feeling, but I wanted to create a harsher feeling for the Trix, which is why I went for all black instead. The only color lines on the Trix are on their makeup and the lips. Overall, I really like how they turned out, and I think you can definitely see the Winx influence on my art style, especially when I draw Winx characters. One part I did mess up on was Icy's glue mix, because I accidentally outlined it in black instead of coloring it in like Stormy's and Darcy's glue mix. Still, even with that mistake and some challenges, it was fun to draw them, and I hope you guys liked it too. Be sure to vote for the next Winx character in the comments down below. So with that, I want to thank you all so much for joining me today. Keep drawing, keep creating, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!